Alright, I'm going to show you how to create a flapping bird as a movie clip, and then at that point we're going to create what's called a motion guide. Okay, so a lot of this right here is review. I've created a bird and there's a wing on this layer, this wing top layer. The body of the bird is here on the body layer. There's the wing bottom, and here's the head, and there's the beak. Just a simple drawing, just done in separate layers so that we can change the wings later when we need to, because we're going to change the position of those wings. Alright, so the entire bird has been drawn, and I want to now, the wings are going to flap. I'm going to make a movie clip of this bird with flapping wings. So we have the wings in this position, but now we need a keyframe where they're in the down position. So I'm going to highlight all of frame 6 and I'll make a keyframe there, F6, and then on this keyframe I'm going to delete the wings. Okay, so for 5 frames they're up, and then boom, they go down. And so now I need to redraw the wings in the down position. So I'm going to, let's see, I'll get the pen tool, and I do want a stroke of black. I want a fill of green, and then the stroke, yeah, I want the stroke to be black. Oops. Okay, pen tool, here we go, stroke of black. Alright, so I'm on the wing top layer, be right here, and then I'm going to draw a wing. Oops, I'm going to draw the wing. Let me lock every layer except that layer. Draw the wing in a down position. Okay, do this. Okay, there we go. So the wing is now in a down position. I'll close the shape. Okay, then I will fill the shape with green. Let me take the lock off. There we go. And then I don't need this. I'll break it apart. I don't need this stroke anymore. Okay, might bring that up a little bit. Okay, did that. Alright, now I'm going to lock that layer, unlock the wing bottom layer, and I'll redraw that one. Again with the pen tool, just a simple triangle. And then I'll fill it with the green. And I'm going to move, you notice how that back wing overlaps the neck there? Well, that tells me I really better move this layer down here below the head, because that's where the neck is. So whenever you have overlapping problems, you can just move stuff like that. Okay, now I want the down state to last a while. The up state lasts for 5 frames. The down state is just 1 frame. So I'll go to about frame 12 and do F5, and there we go. Now the down state lasts a little longer, maybe because he's gliding. Okay, but so his wings are up, wings are down. There's no real animation in between. There's no motion tween. Don't really need it, because they're going to flap kind of quickly, and the human eye will perceive this as flapping, so we don't really need that in-between animation there. Okay. Alright, now I want to turn this into a movie clip. So I'm going to highlight every frame of every layer, and then I will do Control Cut Frames, okay, and then I'll do Modify, or I'm sorry, insert new symbol. I'll call it bird underscore, well, flapping. There we go. Okay, and now I'm in the edit mode of that symbol. So I'll click on this frame here. I'll do Control, press, and then I'll do paste frames, and the whole thing comes in here. Alright, so it is now a complete movie clip where the wings flap. Let me go back to scene 1. I now don't need any of this, so I'll select all that in scene 1, Control press, remove frames. Then I can delete each layer except for the one layer. I might rename it layer 1. Okay. Alright, so I now have a layer 1, and in my library there is a bird flapping. There it is. Let me drag it out. Oops. I don't have any frames at all, so let me do F5, put a frame there, and then I'll drag the movie clip on there. Okay. Now it's a little big, so I'll resize it. Make it smaller. And actually smaller still. We're going to make this thing fly. Now if I test this movie right now, Command Return, you will see the bird just flapping in place, because it's a movie clip and that's all that's happening, is that the bird's wings are flapping. Alright, well, I want to put him on a path, a flight path. So I'm going to need what's called a motion guide. So to do that, I'm going to create a new layer, and for the time being I'll lock the bird layer. And on this layer, this new layer, I'm going to get the, I could use the pencil tool, any tool I want really to make a line. And I'm going to just, I don't really need that. Well, I guess it'll be alright. I'll leave the object guide on. I will just draw a flight path that I want. Okay. And it's smooth. If I needed to smooth it more, I could. Okay. Yeah, and it looks okay. Alright, I'll just say, I may deselect here and just make that a little more extreme. Maybe I'll break that apart, get that piece out of there. Okay. And I can select it and smooth it more. Okay. Alright, so there's my flight path. Alright. Now I'm going to go to the bird layer, and I want to position the bird so that it's going to align with the beginning of the path. However, one thing I need to change is the rotation point of the bird. That doesn't make any sense to have it right there. So I get the transform tool, I move this dot to the center of his belly there. There we go. Well, I guess that'll work. Alright, so I've moved his transformation point. Now I'm going to try to align him with the beginning of where the path is, like so. Okay. And I'll rotate the bird upward a little bit just so it looks like it's flying along the path there. Let's see. Okay. You may feel a little magnetic pull that snaps it in place to the beginning of the path. That's good, because that means it's aligning with the path. Alright, now I'm going to select this path. So it is broken into two segments, so I need to double click to get the whole path. Alright, I'm going to cut it, Command X, and I don't need this layer anymore. I can actually get rid of that layer the path was on. And I'm going to go to frame 1 here, and I will do Control press, and I'm going to choose Create Motion Tween, and it throws in some frames automatically because it figures I at least want a second. So that's 24 frames. And then I'm going to do Shift Command V. Shift Command V is paste in place. And what that means is the guide that the line that I drew becomes a motion guide on this tweened layer. And you can see it's here at the end of the animation here at frame 24. The bird has followed the path and is all on the way off the stage. I can scrub the timeline and see that the bird follows that motion guide. Alright. Other things that I can do, I can go in between here and go to Properties, and then there's this little option called Orient to Path. Let's see how that works. Okay, so that kind of orients the head to the path a little bit. And if you don't like it, it looks a little awkward. I might rotate the bird to be more natural. Like right here, it just is way off. So I'm going to rotate him here. And you'll notice here in the timeline, these have all become keyframes. Alright, so I can go here. Yeah, that seems to be a little better. Alright, so he's followed it. And let's see how this looks. Okay, there you go. You can see him following the path, and notice that he's also flapping his wings. And so you can see the advantage to a movie clip is I don't have to deal with both of these animations at the same time. I don't have to deal with the flapping wings, and also worry about the bird's movement across the screen. Those have been separated by the fact of making a movie clip of flapping wings independently and then putting it on a motion path. That allows you to do some very complex animations by putting those together. Alright, now let's just say you may want to stop the bird in flight. You know, just pretend he's a hummingbird and you want him to go halfway across the screen and then just stop and hover. You can do that. Okay. Alright, as far as creating a stop action which will cause this bird to fly for a while and then stay in one place and just have his wings flap, I've got to create a layer above it, and I'll name it Actions. Now, one thing I've done, I just took a break in the filming. The first film I was working on was an ActionScript 3 file. This one is an HTML5 Canvas document, which is what we're using nowadays, so that it can be seen on the web and people don't have to have Flash. So the stop action for this is a little different than it used to be. I'm going to go to somewhere like, say, frame 15 on my Actions layer. I'll put a blank keyframe, and then I'm going to ask for the Actions window. So I'll go up to Window, ask for Actions, and I'm going to type in THIS.STOP, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, semicolon. And that is my stop action. Don't really need this window showing anymore, but down here you can see there's a little tiny letter A above that keyframe, and that's going to stop the action of the bird. I'll just, we'll do a test movie here, and in the browser you can see, or you will see once I get this going here. Let me reload. I'm going to have to shrink the window size so you can see. Okay, now here we go. Let me reload. And he flies and then he stops. If I reload it, he flies and he stops and hovers like a hummingbird. Okay, so that's the stop action. That's the way it works. Used to be with a ActionScript 3 document, which is what I have back here, that I would do something simpler. Insert blank keyframe, Window, Actions. I would just type in STOP, open, close parenthesis, and that's all I'd have to do. But that is an ActionScript 3 document, and they're different. That the computers have to have flash. So if you want it to be used on a mobile device, it's got to be a Canvas document. It's got to have this type of action. It's got to say this dot stop, open, close, and then semicolon. Now you may say, well, you know what? I'd like to add some other stuff to my movie. In fact, I'm going to make Lucky Dog, and let's see, I'm going to get the Lucky Dog walking symbol. Copy it. I'll paste it. And let's just say that I want, first I'll make him a lot smaller. And let's just say I want to have him in a movie clip. And then he's going to walk across the screen like this. But when I test the movie, he stops too. He shouldn't be. He stops right there. But if I want him to keep going and I want the bird to stop. So how do I do that? Well, because notice they both seem like they keep going, but the bird actually does stop because of the stop action. But so how do I get Lucky Dog to keep going and the bird to stop? Well, the answer is I can't. I really can, but here's what I've got to do. Stop actions affect every layer, and they will stop all actions on every layer. So what I've got to do is I've got to create a nested movie clip. I got to create a movie clip with this movie clip inside of it and the action script. So I've got to Control press, select all frames of both layers, and I'll do cut frames. And then I'm going to do insert new symbol, create new symbol. I might call it flight. And so now I'm inside this new symbol I created. So I'll do control, paste frames. And now all of this is inside a clip itself. So there's a movie clip of the bird, which is inside of this flight movie clip with a motion path and a stop action. So I go back out to scene 1, and then here, yes, I can bring Lucky. He can have a motion tween, and he can go across the stage. And then this is no longer an actions layer. I'll just call it flight. On this layer, I will bring in the flight movie clip. Put it over to the left there. And don't even have to do a motion tween. If I do control test movie, he goes on, but the bird stops. That's the only way you can have a stop action independent of other things. It has to be in a nested movie clip. Okay. And then one last thing, you may say, well, you know, I want my animation just to play once. I don't want it to loop. There's another use of a stop action that you can do. You can put an actions layer at the top of your film. And then I think I might actually go out here and hit F5. Make sure Lucky's off the stage by then. And then on this actions layer, I'll put an insert blank keyframe. And then on this keyframe, I'll put in a stop action. This dot stop, open, close parenthesis, semicolon. And now it should play only once. Now he keeps it stops essentially the play on the last frame. Since this is a movie clip, it's still going. You can see his ear because I didn't get him completely off the stage. But if you wanted to have a credits and you wanted it to just stop, this is how you would do that. And that's how you deal with motion guides and nested movie clips and stop actions.